Let's travel back to 2008, when the summer hit its fever pitch of the long-awaited Christopher Nolan superhero epic, The Dark Knight. I can remember it like it was yesterday, when I was a sophomore in college reading up on all the production coverage I could find. Here's looking at you, JoBlo. Rewatching those amazing trailers, following that online campaign and viral marketing, which was way ahead of its time. My presale tickets were bought. I was amped beyond words for what I was about to witness. I think it was the longest wait on a theater line as well, clocking in at almost 3 hours prior to seating on opening night at my local IMAX.
That's a riot!
Because at that time, seats weren't reserved, and it was a battle royale trying to get that coveted middle row seat. Picture running at the Bulls in Spain, but with people trying to get to that damn middle row. Boy, how far we've come with the movie theater experience. When the dust settled, The Dark Knight transcended the superhero genre and was talked about for months on end due to its story, its scope, its direction, its spectacle, and its acting. However, the biggest takeaway was the late Heath Ledger's interpretation of the Joker, which is still one of the best live-action movie performances of all time. It's the main reason why the Oscars went from 5 Best Picture candidates to 10. It's also the reason why many actors try to emulate and top Heath's performance for that coveted gold Oscar, and why many have failed to achieve it. And like all good things, they must come to an end.
I think you and I are destined to do this forever.
Only to wait years upon years for the next great Batman tale to unfold on the big screen. And sure, while we got an epic send-off to Bale's Dark Knight trilogy and its completed Bruce Wayne arc in Dark Knight Rises, or some great iconic moments from Ben Affleck's Batman and Zack Snyder's rendition of the Caped Crusader, it just didn't bring the excitement and hype that The Dark Knight brought with its marketing campaign up until its theatrical release. That was until a new contender stepped out from the shadows, in all of its splendid vengeful glory.
I'm vengeance.
A trailer that debuted out of nowhere from director Matt Reeves at DC's Fandom. It was epic. It was glorious. It felt like a Batman film. Reflecting that to my love for the Kevin Conroy animated series that I hold near and dear to my heart. Was history about to repeat itself? Especially after the bad flack the film received of its initial main star, Robert Pattinson, donning the cape and cowl. Or how about that first screen test in that neon red drenched room, introducing how Batman will look for the first time, with Michael Giacchino's main score playing in the background. We just didn't know what was in store because we were so used to The Dark Knight being on that proverbial superhero mountain when it came to the best comic book iterations of our time. Well, I have to say, after watching Matt Reeves' The Batman, after a handful of delays no thanks to COVID, and hearing the production hell it endured, I prided myself in knowing that The Batman deserved to stand alongside the all-time greatest superhero film put onto celluloid since 2008.
Little fight in you. I like that.
But why has some of the feedback since its release from so many people around the globe garnered Matt Reeves' The Batman not as worthy as to that of The Dark Knight? I'm here to prove why it's just as strong as The Dark Knight, and why they go hand in hand. Ah yes, you may think my words and opinions are delusional, but they're simply subjective and filled with passion on my favorite superhero.
Okay, kill him!
I have a feeling we're on the precipice of another legendary Batman trilogy that down the line may just overshadow Nolan's. Matt Reeves' The Batman is that flip side to Nolan's The Dark Knight's coin, no pun intended.
Now we're talking.
While one is smaller and intimate in scope as a detective thriller, the other is much more bombastic and versatile, reveling in its blockbuster spectacle. But in honesty, they're merely equals and share everything great on what a Batman film should be, harkening back to all the best source material of the Dark Knight mythos. So how about we dive in and discuss?
Tonight you're gonna break your one rule.
We can always go back and play in our head the Dark Knight scenes because they are just that memorable and stand a step above the rest. Who can forget the mind-blowing interrogation scene between Batman and Joker at the GCPD? Or how about that bank robbery in downtown Gotham, introducing us to the Joker for the very first time and showing how intellectual and manipulative the clown prince of crime can be? There's so many to choose from, but in honesty, the Batman could go toe-to-toe with them, even when it's smaller and intimate in scope. I know I could constantly talk about the mayor's murder at the start of the film, which captures something right out of a classic horror film. Or how about that opening monologue of Batman and his commitment to fighting crime, which segues right into Batman taking out a bunch of goons. Let's not forget the Batman's own interrogation scene between himself and the Riddler in a battle of wits, ending with a classic Paul Dano meltdown that he displays throughout his own filmography.
I drink it up!
Don't bully me, Daniel!
Or that amazing sequence involving Batman's flight suit and crashing to the streets below. There are so many highlights throughout the Batman that are just as great and memorable as The Dark Knight. Both films are enriched with Batman moments that take you back to reading the best Batman stories on panel. In my mind, everyone wins here.
Batman has no limits.
When you think of Batman, what actor do you always go back to when donning that infamous cape and cowl? While Affleck is the ultimate Batman-Bruce Wayne combo in many people's eyes, it was Christian Bale's cocky, egotistical playboy persona of Bruce Wayne tethered with his isolated, reclusive, and malicious Batman that had the ultimate story arc from beginning to end. The Dark Knight encapsulated that struggling hero's journey storyline so perfectly. Coming off Bruce's established crime-fighting skills as Batman, saving Gotham from the treachery of Scarecrow and Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins, it was time to advance to the next boss to challenge him at every corner. And boy, we got that tenfold with the Joker in The Dark Knight. Batman bit off way more than he could chew, playing mental gymnastics with the Joker and in fact losing towards the end.
Everything burns.
Even if that involved putting an end to Joker's madness, he was truly defeated.
All it takes is a little push.
Gotham's White Knight, Harvey Dent, was killed at the hands of Batman. He also lost his companion in Rachel. He was also labeled as a villain by the Gotham citizens and police by the end credits. We weren't used to seeing a flawed and beaten Batman before, but it made the movie much more impactful. In The Batman, we get a troubled, introverted, broken down Bruce Wayne who doesn't even engage with anyone. He has a frail relationship with Alfred and would rather bask in darkness on his own accord. He has a disconnect when it comes to communicating with people. But when he puts on his real mask in the form of vengeance, he is a complete beast of an animal. He uses bone-crunching physicality to hurt his opponents. He doesn't need stealth when he's literally going through front doors to beat goons to a pulp. He methodically becomes a detective at crime scenes and uses his intellect as well. When he needs answers, he gets them in barbaric fashion.
Oh shit, it is. Look at that.
It's a great rendition that we aren't used to seeing. The complete yin-yang of someone truly showing their alter ego as the driving positive force, while their public persona is one day away from having a complete meltdown. Pattinson possesses a very flawed Batman. He's on his second year and learning new tech, losing his battle of the wits with the Riddler.
Oh, you're really not as smart as I thought you were.
And letting Gotham become one gigantic swimming pool by the end of it. It's fascinating to see a human and organic Batman rather than being invincible to firearms and plot armor. Not to mention, he is hesitant upon his actions, as seen when he's about to take a leap of faith off the GCPD building. It makes the story believable and more grounded. Both iterations are exceptionally done well and iconic to Batman fans alike.
People will die. Starting tonight.
Batman filmography has always had dark storylines attached to them. We've seen that with Burton's Batmans and even Snyder's rendition, but The Dark Knight and The Batman are drenched with darkness. Only question is, which flavor do you prefer? With The Dark Knight, the Joker is sprung loose on Gotham, creating anarchy and chaos on anything and everything he touches. This tests Batman to his very core, questioning his belief and morals but also breaking his spirit. The Dark Knight has some extreme moments which push its PG-13 rating to great length. When the violence hits, it's framed and edited in a way which makes it stay on that PG-13 spectrum. It's damn close to teetering off into adult territory. You get people being blown up, shot at, a man's face burnt off, some stabbings, you name it, it's here. Matt Reeves' The Batman takes it even further with its dark and gritty undertones. The Batman explores Bruce Wayne's second year as a Cape Crusader, taking place on Halloween, exploring the murder of a politician by an unknown threat named the Riddler. It's up to Batman to put the dots together, which involves all the big players within Gotham, including Batman himself, to solve the crime, or in this case, the big riddle that exposes lies, deceit, and corruption. Matt Reeves used Seven, Zodiac, Chinatown, and some detective flicks of the early 40s, like Double Indemnity, to capture that noir element. The fights are vicious too, almost a few too many punches or bone breaks thrown in to keep that rating convulsing into R-rated territory, but it makes for exceptionally great cinema. Both films possess complex and enthralling storylines, which again brings me back to that double-sided coin. I hate to brag, but besides Spider-Man, Batman has the best rogues gallery of anyone in the comic book world. Each villain in the Batman mythos has impressive backstories and can be a massive headache to Batman as they try to conquer Gotham. In The Dark Knight, the pinnacle of villain performance has been reached in both Heath Ledger's Joker and Aaron Eckhart's Harvey Dent Two-Face. Both serve as legitimate foes, one even being befriended by Bruce Wayne at the start of the film, only to become the murderous psychopath by the flip of a coin. It's something Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men picked up in his own movie as a way to dispatch innocent bystanders.
Just tend to win everything, call it.
It makes the situation more chaotic when the Joker is a mad dog and being an unstoppable force just for the sake of it. Disrupting the mob's actions by robbing banks, wrecking parties with his own circus gang. Let's not forget, he's into sabotaging memorial services, escaping police stations, kidnapping and killing love interests, and for good measure, blowing up hospitals or having citizens and prisoners play a good old game of Russian roulette via explosives. It's all on the Joker's menu here.
Shit? Would you like some shit? No, shallots.
Shallots! It cements Mr. Ledger's performance one for the ages, forever known in cinema lore. In The Batman, the villains are just as great and just as memorable. You have Paul Dano's sadistic, murderous, egomaniacal Riddler at the forefront. You also have an unrecognizable Colin Farrell as the Penguin, hamming it up as someone who can be Tony Soprano's half-brother, and John Turturro as a ruthless and calculated Carmine Falcone, who shares a deep connection with Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman. But the standout is clearly Dano's Riddler, an orphan who was dumped away by his parents and lived on the uglier side of Gotham. He did most of his time as a child and teenager inside an orphanage, being bullied and chewed on by rats at night. He was promised a better life through the renewal program funded by the Wayne Foundation, but when that went belly up, he was exposed to the corruption and seediness of Gotham. His backstory is explored more in his graphic novel Riddler, Year One, which needs to be read as soon as possible by all Bat fanatics. The villains are impressive in both these films. Usually a superhero film that packs on so many villains becomes a watered-down, convoluted mess. But with these two films, they're taken seriously and to great effect.
Having a clue? Let's play a game, just me and you.
The world's greatest detective is known for his cunning intellect and problem-solving skills. He's always one step ahead of his villains, which is what makes Batman so great. While we got some good detective work from Batman The Dark Knight, it almost seemed like it was sprinkled in without the authenticity behind it. Sure, we got some ballistics matching, fingerprint dusting, and cool flashy sonar skills, but just doesn't scream Batman to me. That's not to say it's bad, it just doesn't feel like the greatest detective aspects of Batman.
Look at you two! World's greatest detectives!
With Matt Reeves' interpretation, the whole movie is a detective crime noir that we're engaged with from beginning to end. It picks up right where Mayor Don Mitchell gets murdered and doesn't let up, making Batman a gumshoe of sorts. And while many people may yawn at the fact that this is a 3-hour detective noir mystery, it's so ingrained in the Batman mythos that makes it a masterpiece in its own right. We're led astray to clues throughout Gotham purposely placed by the Riddler, which all leads up to the final climax as the seawalls are destroyed and Gotham is drowned out from within. This also gives Riddler's insurgents an opportunity to cause havoc and easy target practice for the innocents of Gotham inside the arena. It's all beautifully executed and serves as a testament to how far comic book films have come since they went mainstream with Spider-Man in the early 2000s. While we got a taste of a murder crime scene in The Dark Knight with the two people dead at the table, it truly didn't capture the essence of a crime scene like the one in Matt Reeves' Batman. In The Batman, he investigates every inch of the mayor's office, solving the first riddle, analyzing the wound on the mayor's severed thumb, and being a step ahead of Gotham's own detectives and police officers.
Happy fucking Halloween.
It's a tour de force scene that captures the essence of Batman perfectly.
I can't be everywhere. It's a big city.
Batman may be our main character, but Gotham also serves as its own character with each film. A dystopian, decaying city full of corruption, greed, and chaos, spewing from the cracks of the very cement that lays throughout its streets. The Dark Knight added a new layer to its sprawling city, veering off from Batman Begins' look of the Blade Runner-esque communities of the Narrows, and making it a modern, ultra-realistic cityscape with that of The Dark Knight. While it may not remind us of the Gotham we have seen in movies past, like Burton's Gothic approach to Gotham, or Schumacher's neon-soaked Metropolis, Christopher Nolan's Gotham is enriched in its realistic, modern approach to the DC hero. With Matt Reeves' Batman, it's a living, breathing infrastructure that reigns and basks in the ultra-gritty slums that reminisce us of the work of Batman's best graphic novels. I don't know about you, but you can smell the foulness going on in the city with the gorgeous visuals displayed on screen courtesy of DP Greg Fraser. It screams Gotham, and it shows us a dark underbelly from within the city that just makes me a fan of Reeves' new point of view towards one of the comic book's most famous cities. You gotta love the realistic approach to Batman's vehicles in both The Dark Knight and Batman. The Tumbler sure is a sleek and sexy militaristic vehicle that doesn't scream Batman, but feels grounded within Nolan's approach to how Batman treks around the city, thanks to Lucius Fox and his wonderful toys.
Where does it get those wonderful toys?
While this interpretation isn't a muscle car, it got some power under that hood with the opportunity to turbo boost and catapult itself to other parts of the terrain. It's also a great intimidation factor to those pesky goons and villains. You also got the plan B of the Tumbler's ejection system, the Batpod. It's a motorcycle that projects out of the driver's side when a tumbler becomes destroyed by a well-placed rocket. The Batpod is cinematic badassery cemented on film. It also serves as one of the best comic book scenes of all time, flipping the Joker's truck and ending with a game of chicken between Batman and his arch-nemesis in the middle of a city street. With the Batman, this muscle car has some fucking balls with that massive diesel engine, which looks like it was assembled by Hell's Demons. When that thing turns on, it will make you shit your pants and tremble, just like how the Penguin did when he heard it for the first time. That's how formidable it is. And that thing rips and roars down the highways, including one of the best chase sequences put on film, right up there with The French Connection or The Matrix Reloaded. This might even be the best Batmobile to date. I'm trying to keep things even between the two. It's upsetting when you hear on the forums that Matt Reeves' The Batman is boring. It's hollow, it drags on and on, it has a sparkling vampire in Robert Pattinson as Batman, and so on and so forth. We all have different tastes when it comes to watching movies that we love and adore, but you can't deny how both these Batman flicks are matched in terms of overall execution. They're visually stunning, ripped right from the comic book panels that they gained inspiration from. They're acted flawlessly, and only prove how serious a comic film could get with the right creative team and director behind it. And crazy enough, we still have 2 more films from Matt Reeves to potentially be crowned as the best Batman trilogy of all time. I love both films tremendously, and I like that they're 2 different unique flavors of Batman lore. For that, we should be proud that we're eating this good. In the meantime, wait for HBO Max's The Penguin series and give The Batman another watch to potentially curb those biased feelings and take it for what it is. A true detective noir masterpiece that plays in a comic book sandbox. It truly is remarkable work and a bookend for what's to come in the future.
You think they deserved it?